Welcome to Portraits by Melody here on the Nathan's Art channel. So when I was a kid, my dad set our desktop screensaver to time lapses of landscape paintings, and I would purposely wait for the computer to rest so that I could sit and watch that little cursor paint for hours. It was just like one of my favorite things to do. And I've asked him what settings he used because I kind of miss it, and he doesn't remember because it was actually a really long time ago. I always enjoyed watching the screensaver because I could sit and see what needed more details. It was kind of like a game. Like I would say, ooh, over there needs a lot of work, and then pretty soon the little cursor would zoom over and fix it. And it was really, really satisfying and fun to get that gratification that I noticed what needed fixed. So I don't know. I wanted to recreate that experience for myself and also for you guys, and I've really enjoyed sharing the time lapses of my work and my process to allow you guys to kind of experience firsthand what I saw as the artist creating a piece. And I know some people say the magic of a painting is not knowing how it came together, how it happened. But for me, seeing every moment of the process of it coming together is something I love to share and experience. So working digitally has actually really easily allowed me to embrace that experience and recreate it. And the inspiration behind this portrait came from a moment I shared with my child. Having always dreamt of becoming a stay-at-home mom, I really looked forward to making memories with my kids. And I actually think that memories are some of my most treasured possessions, I guess I could say. But I have such a terrible memory that I don't remember things very well. And so having a few kids now, I'm starting to see clearly how fast people grow up. And I've really noticed that I've forgotten a lot of the little moments. And so in the middle of the night, I held on to my littlest one, hoping to remember what it feels like to hold somebody that needed me in the middle of the night like this, that just really just wanted me. It's just so peaceful, and I felt so much love that I just wanted to capture it. And the best way I thought to do that was to try and draw it. And I have to say that when I took my phone out and took this picture, just following that impression to capture the moment, I did not know what was coming for me because this turned into more of an emotional experience than I had anticipated. And I'm sure some of you are thinking, but why did you want to draw it if you already have a picture of the same moment? And for me, the answer to that is that in spending so much time with this painting, with this picture, with this portrait, I started to see new insights into the moment, and I had a new perspective. What originally was just an attempt at capturing that peaceful moment, it became a reflection on my journey navigating life and motherhood, really. Living in the moment, I hadn't really thought much about the blanket and it being there, but as I sat drawing, I started to think about what circumstances brought that blanket to that moment, and I remembered that, I knew it, but I didn't think about it in the moment, that blanket was one that I sewed in a class I took with my mom and my grandma when I was about 11 years old. And I know that because it was during the phase of my life where I wrote my name and my age on everything. So I sewed a patch into it that had the information on it so nobody would be confused about where it came from. So the class that I was in with them was 10 or so adults, and I remember feeling so excited to be invited along because I was the only kid and to be able to make something with them. They had to help me cut out everything, and they also had to help me sew it all together. So it's a fun memory because I got to spend time with them, and they were teaching me something that they love to do. And I think it's become even fonder now that my grandma has passed away, and I have these memories with her. And so having this blanket wrapped around my daughter feels like a connection to not only me because I made it and I'm with her, but also to my mom and my grandmother and the things that they've taught me. It feels like a nod to motherhood through the generations and how we're all so closely connected even if we're not always together. And another part of this that stuck out to me is that during the process of creating the likeness or making it look like me, you probably noticed me kind of measuring with my pencil, going back and forth and really fixating on that edge and trying to adjust the facial features right there, like the eyes, the face, or the nose, the mouth, the chin, and the way they interact with the background and the angle. And when I noticed myself really fixating on that, I remembered some details of my experience as a stay-at-home mom. And where I'm going with that is that the emphasis I've placed on being home with the kids and giving them everything has really pushed me and made me a better person. It's taught me valuable lessons, and it's left me with lifelong memories. But like this drawing, when I became fixated on any one detail of my life, it's been dangerous because I can miss out on spending time with the rest of the picture. And I say that because, like this drawing, when I was really fixated on that angle, I neglected the rest of the picture. And to be a really successful artist, you need to spend equal amounts of time with the whole picture, or it will seem unfinished and imbalanced. So though I was spending all of my energy on being a mom and caring for the home and running errands and caring for the kids and all the good things that I needed to be doing, I had really overlooked a lot of other aspects of my life that were also important to me, like my hobbies and my interests. And there was actually an assignment that Ben came home with a couple years ago for his creative writing class that really stuck out to me. And the assignment was just to make a list of 50 things that they'd enjoyed to kind of help them see what other things they could write about for their class. And I was immediately intrigued when he read me his list because I was like, oh, that's so cool to kind of see a list. And so I wanted to make my own, but I quickly realized that I could not remember what I enjoyed. It took me 3 hours, and I was so discouraged because I had neglected to care for the whole picture. I couldn't remember what I liked. I couldn't remember what I enjoyed. And it was really discouraging to have to spend 3 hours remembering. I kept thinking, man, I should know these things, but I didn't. I'd forgotten. And so to take care of myself and my needs as an individual became something that I'm working on, something that I'm trying to be better at, because, like they say, you can't fill somebody else's cup if yours is empty. Which leads me to the new perspective I saw working on the background of this portrait. At first, the background just seemed like a product of using the flash, where it lights up your face and the background goes dark. And I actually debated changing it to a dark green or blue or something because I didn't know if I liked how dark it was. But drawing on it for so long, I decided to leave it and kind of feel it out. And then after working on it for the 10 hours that I was, I really had started to notice how the light weaves throughout, and it got me thinking about how even in moments of darkness, there's always a light ahead. And when that thought struck me, I really started feeling emotional because the darkness to me kind of symbolizes depression. And that is something that has always closely followed me. And so the bleakness of that background and how it's kind of connected to my hair and my hair kind of blends into it like it's maybe a part of me. That feeling of being stuck and alone and unwanted and lost and a deep sense of sadness really kind of got my emotions rolling and reminded me of those times in my lives. And I just want to say really fast that if you are somebody in a place like that, you need to tell somebody. And for me to be honest about how I really felt and realize that I needed support was the way that I kind of worked through it. I had to talk to people, I had to start taking medicine, and I had to look to family and friends who have always been there to help me move forward through it. And I've seen in my own life that though the bleakness is never far, searching for peace and love in my daily life and looking forward with a hope for a brighter tomorrow has allowed me to kind of find the strength to keep trying. And the more I worked on this one, the more I really realized how much of my experiences really impressed the interpretation of this visual. Seeing myself grounded in my family who is illuminated by the light just really touched me. And it still kind of gets me emotional because having a family means so much to me. I actually feel like this picture is one of the most accurate representations of me as a self-portrait because I've swam in some deep waters of depression and trauma, and I love my family and I feel grounded in the present when they're close to me, but that is like the sadness and the trauma feels like it's always still there, and it's hard to stay grounded sometimes and live with the present, and having that blanket there to represent my creative side and knowing that looking ahead is the way that I found light and peace in those hard times just really kind of tied it together, making me feel like, wow, this is like a really accurate portrait of just me, which is hard to kind of share with everybody because it feels deep. And, I could have never known when I felt that moment of peace and the impression to take a picture as a reference for this drawing, that it would turn into this kind of emotional journey for me. It became like a journey of reflection and understanding that I really, really didn't see coming. And it turned, like I mentioned, it just turned into something way deeper than I meant it to. And I actually feel a little self-conscious about it, wondering how it will be viewed by everyone who sees this. But I want to be honest and I want to be authentic. I'm not somebody who is trying to sell this stuff. And that sometimes makes me wonder, like, who am I making all this art for? But I haven't figured it out yet. It's not traditional media like paper or canvas, so it's not really recognized as real art by a fine arts community. It's not stylized like illustrative. Is that how you would say it? Like illustration work. And I feel like I don't really know where my style and process fit into the art world, but making these little portraits and creating the little videos and thinking about what I'll say and editing it all has really helped me find a better balance as a mom and as a person too, and helped me see the whole picture of what I like and what I want to be doing with my life. And I think I feel a renewed sense of purpose doing this, even though it's a lot of work to squeeze in and create time to draw and to edit. I'm so glad that I am. So if you're a mom and you're tired, find something that you love and you have to make the time for it, because it will help you in the long run. I wanted to make sure that I put a couple little clips in here in real time so that you guys could see how slow this process really is. I know that speeding it up is a lot of fun, but I also want you guys to know that if you're working on something and it takes a really long time, that is normal. Things don't happen in 15 seconds like they do on the shorts. Things take a lifetime of learning, and I hope that came through in this video. This has been a lifetime of living to come to this moment, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm actually really glad that you're here and curious about how I'm making art and what I'm doing and who I am. It means the world to me. I didn't actually hide an Easter egg in this one because I'm behind. We were sick and I didn't have as much time this week, so I don't know what I'm going to be doing next week, but we'll see you then. Thank you guys so much for following along. See you next week.